In my past tutorials, we talked about a lot of basics for portrait drawing. How to draw a nose, how to draw an eye and mouth, but I realized we never talked about how to draw molds or freckles. But we need to add those details in our realistic drawing, right? For this tutorial, I'm going to use one of my oldest drawings, and now we are adding her freckles together. In my previous tutorials, we talked about some facial features, for example, the wrinkles in the forehead and how to draw a scar in Jon Snow portrait. These lines required a very sharp pencil and circular motions, the zigzag motions. Also, in this elderly gentleman's portrait, we draw some spots on the face, and I talked to you about how to draw those spots in a more natural way. Again, I had my graphite pencil and I was doing circular motions. Afterwards, I was definitely blending them, and I was adding all these pores in the skin with a very sharp pencil again. We can do the same things in colored pencil drawing. In this older man's portrait, we used a very dark shade of brown to give those dots. So similarly, we will have another issue today, how to draw freckles. I made this portrait a year ago, and today we are gonna add her freckles. I have two HB pencils to compare because I want to show you something. Here I have Derwent and I have Faber-Castell 9000. Also, I have 2B shade of Faber-Castell and also Tombow Mono Lead. Now, you see that when I blend them with a tissue on the left and blend them with a Q-tip on the right, you can see they are giving different results. For example, Tombow Mono smudges a lot and it is pretty dark. And when you look at Derwent, it is not dark at all and it's not smudging, but also it doesn't look natural, it doesn't blend well. So Faber-Castell gave the best result here. Let's look at charcoal too. Here is our charcoal medium pencil from Generals, and when I blend, you can see that it smudges a lot and it's too dark to be natural. Also, you're gonna see that I'm not going to blend anything with a cotton because it smudges a lot. Cotton tip will give us much more control. Let's start by forming the base. For forming the base, I'm going to use my BAT method: blending, erasing, and drawing. So I'm drawing here all these freckles following the exact shape that I see in the reference photo. Not perfect circles, guys. It's never perfectly circular. And here I have some dots that are smaller. I'm following the exact density that I see on the photo. Please don't draw them regularly spaced because then it's not going to look natural. After we draw them, let's blend them with a Q-tip. For the smaller dots, I highly recommend using a mechanical pencil because that made my job much easier. And also, some circles come together to form almost a line. So it is easier to give those lines with your mechanical pencil by drawing in tiny circular motions. It's not just on the cheeks. You can see some freckles on the nose and around the mouth area as well. So I'm switching between 2B and HB. For example, this freckle right here looks like a line instead of a circle. I can see that the left part is much darker, so I use more 2B there, whereas on the right I use mostly HB. Now it's time to erase. We said blending, erasing, and drawing, right? So the erasing part is basically giving highlights to the skin. And again, in order to give those dots as highlights, I need my stick eraser. I'm just pressing on my paper and lifting up the graphite and charcoal so that I give all these concentrated spots. Because freckles is not just dark spots, guys. It is also composed of the lighter spots. Of course, after erasing, we need to blend as well. So I blended them gently with a tissue. While blending, please make sure that you don't put a lot of pressure with your tissue because you don't want freckles to disappear. So maybe applying the tissue once or twice is just sufficient. So how about the darkest parts? We are finishing up our first base with charcoal. There are some really dark spots that you cannot really get that much dark with graphite. I highly recommend you to go in there with your charcoal pencil, but be careful because they are harder to erase. Make sure to blend them with a Q-tip, not with a tissue, because we don't want to smudge them. We just want to blend them. After we add all the highlights, we blend the face with a tissue gently and also slowly. Afterwards, we are just going to go down around the mouth area and add the freckles there as well. So the mouth area didn't have that many as much as the cheeks or the nose. I just added like the small ones, and I added the eraser parts and finally blended them all. While drawing the freckles, you need to look at the density and make sure that where the freckles are denser, you concentrate there more with your pencils, and where the highlighted spots are more, maybe you should go with your eraser more. So these are the things that you need to pay attention to. Where the freckles are getting darker, you need to add charcoal and blend them really well with your Q-tip. The final layer is crucially important. Here we are going to use a colored pencil. It's a black Faber-Castell Polychromos, and we are going to add all those darkest dots and the tiny little dots with this pencil. Why we are using a colored pencil here is because when we blend, it's not going to go away and it's going to keep its darkness. After that, we have our electric eraser. We will have all these highlighted final dots. And then we will have our little brush here. It's a makeup brush, and blend them all. And here it is. This was our last layer. Now our realistic freckles are done. Let's look at the result. I really like it, guys. What do you think? Share your opinions in the comments section. My next video is just a click away. I'll see you there. Would you like to draw and paint with me step by step and learn all the techniques that I use? I post 3 new fully narrated real-time tutorials on my Patreon every month. Patreon.com/Ece Gurler, as low as $5 a month. Thanks for watching my video. If you like my videos, please don't forget to subscribe. And for my real-time narrated tutorials, visit my Patreon, patreon.com/Ece Gurler. Stay with art and love.